It is Thursday, May 20th, 2021, 11:08 p.m. I'm just going to film a quick summary of my day uh, while I'm closing my curtains here. Just for no reason. I'm going to try to keep this to like very short, but I just like to have a record of my day. Otherwise, it goes nowhere. I should be journaling, but I'm not. And I didn't do a summary yesterday either. So what's today? Thursday? So yesterday was Wednesday. So, and I couldn't remember what I did. I was trying to think. I'm like, oh, right. Because then at dinner, my mom was like, how was the event last night? So I remembered what I did. Um, I, let me think. I mean, did I wake up in time? I remember, yes. Okay, so I was lying in bed around 10 o'clock a.m. And then I got a message from my sister saying, I'm here. I'm like, oh. So my dad had picked up my sister, Diana, and brought her here. I saw later on Facebook that they had gone to the Tulip Festival. And then, and I said, okay, I'll come up. But that took me like an hour to get up from my bed. Finally got upstairs. I think I saw her at the dinner table or something, but I was in my running clothes, and I'm like, I'm just going to go for a... No. When I finally got upstairs, she was sleeping on the couch. So I thought, this is perfect. I'll go for a run while she's napping. And then my mom saw me, and she's like, you're not joining us for lunch? I'm like, I need to go for a jog. This is like 11:30 or 11:45, and I thought, if I can just do like 45 minutes, I can come back in time. So I came back, and they were just getting ready. They were going to take her home, and that's when I got an alert on my phone at like 10 to 1 that said there was a webinar happening, and it was put on by my old university, and it was like my old psych prof, this first year psych prof I had, and he's now head of the psych department at my old school, Glendon, and I thought, that's so cool that he's still alive and that I can learn from him again, and so I wanted to watch that. And it turns out it was a one-way thing. Like, you couldn't, it wasn't like a Zoom call. Like, you could just see him talking, and it was about false memories, and I thought it was interesting because it's, I mean, that's what we learned in first year, and they're still talking about it. And a lot of the quotes, he was talking about Elizabeth Loftus, this professor that I remember the name of, so from 30 years ago, literally. We were talking, it's the same stuff, and it made me realize, yeah, if I just pursued that a bit, I could have been the guy on the Zoom talking about, because there was a guy before him, this bald Jewish guy, Daniel Rosenberg or something, and he was talking about his doctorate and all this stuff, and I'm like, that is a path I could have taken. And I'm like, should I have done that? But, I guess I did have a cool job shooting commercials around the world, so maybe not necessarily. I mean, who knows? The thing is, like we talked about in my last summary, like, whatever path you take, you're not taking something else, so that's life. Um, and then that was it for a couple hours, and then I had to do a test call because I was hosting the speed dating event, and so we were on that at like 3:30 for a while, or at 4 o'clock actually, for like half an hour, and then that was it. Who knows? I checked emails or something, and then we had dinner, and then finally at 7 o'clock, I think it was tuna casserole that my mom made that night yesterday, or was it still left over from the night before? I don't know. And then yeah, and I hosted the event. It was good. I was very funny, and then there were some technical problems at the end. My camera was freezing, but I tried to stay in, and I kept going in, and then finally I just joined as a regular person so I could just finish it off and do some trivia questions. And then there were some sweet people. There was one guy, I couldn't quite understand what he was saying a lot of times, but then at some point at the end, he was saying in the after party, like, "Oh, I have Asperger's and I'm a learning disability." I'm like, okay, great. He's coming out and he's getting involved. I love it. And then there was another guy in Atlanta who, well, everybody was in Atlanta, and he was lying in the hospital. And I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, he's got a lot of health problems, but I think he also had COVID, and he's lying there with the thing in his nose, the oxygen thing." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great that he's working hard too." And he's like, "I just want to meet a woman. I'm an old fashioned guy, and it's hard to meet women who like that." And I'm like, "Well, good for you. Good for you." So that was all very sweet. And then that was it. And then I stupidly somehow see what happens after I do something. It's the same thing like after I do a comedy show or something. I always feel like, oh, I should reward myself for staying up. I'm like, wow, I just finished this thing, and so I didn't go to bed till 1:30, and then I had a podcast till 2:30. So that was last night. Then this morning, yeah, I woke up around 8 or something, and I was so tired. I was like, I should stay in bed. Or it was 9, and the CPAP machine said it was only on for like 7 hours and 40 minutes, and I knew an hour of that was still listening to a podcast, and then So yeah, for like 3 hours, I'm lying in bed, and then I'm like, oh, I should just get up. So from now on, I should just get up, I guess. And that was basically it. I went for a jog for an hour, got a Subway sandwich. So I hadn't even eaten by 3 o'clock when I left, or 3:30. Hadn't even eaten, so I ran, got a sub, then ran back, listened to the Ben Shapiro show while I was running. Then we had dinner, and I told my mom's like, I don't know. Then she was asking how the thing went last night. I said, yeah, tonight's just a regular event. So that was it. And then there was a lot of technical problems tonight. I was sitting in the lobby for 8 dates straight, but a lot of people were. And then they said somebody said you have to refresh your page. So I tried that. So I had like I think 4 dates, and I connected with 4 people. So they made some nice connections. And then that was it. I was just in the after party and then doing some filter off speed dating, and here I am. So yeah, all night I was thinking afterwards. I'm like, oh, I should go outside and walk around and do my nightly summary bit. I figured I'll just do it inside now. Maybe I'll go upstairs and get some water now. Maybe some yogurt with some flax seeds. Probably should just have some water. And then yeah, tomorrow's Friday, so I've got so much I want to do. Actually, I've been talking to a couple of people from Israel on Instagram, and I said I would interview them early tomorrow morning, just to get some content and support my people and hear how things are going on over there. And then yeah, that's about it. All right. Well, so I will see you. I don't even think I'll upload this now. I think I'll just do it later tomorrow or something. Because Brandy's still like, when are we going to do another interview? And I'm like, I haven't even interviewed her last one. I got to go through and just upload stuff. Ugh, so much to do. But maybe if I started working before 4 p.m., I'd get some stuff done. I guess we'll see tomorrow. Have a good night.